You know the expression, throwing the baby out with the bathwater, right? It's when we sort of discard of something and we want to get rid of something superfluous and just unnecessary. And in that process, we happen to get rid of the valuable stuff as well, you know? Throwing the baby out with the bathwater. We're supposed to just get rid of something dirty and done. And in the process, we end up throwing away the diamond as well. Well, that's how I feel about the current state of the world. At least my secular, intelligent, modern Westerners here in Sweden, when it comes to the topic of God. Yeah, I know God is a loaded word, and mind you, I don't mean the Christian father figure, white-bearded male archetype on some cloud in the sky that judges and commands and punishes and all of that. No. I've gone through a long and rigorous process of freeing that word from its Christian references for myself, simply because I, as a seeker and finder and a mystic and a lover of source, the greatest mystery of all, the intelligence within and beyond this world that seems to dream everything, including me and all of us, alive, the life force within each living being. I happen to not see that somehow fit into the tiny and narrow mold of depictions and descriptions. It's as I see it, all these man-made, beautiful and symbolic renditions of our so-called God is mere symbols, metaphors for the incomprehensible and the unfathomable source of all. Yeah? Okay, so let's get that out of the way, because I know that whenever I mention God, many will just jump to the conclusion that I am referring to the dude in the sky, this somewhat infantile idea of some male archetype atop clouds. I don't. So for convenience sake, let's just call it source. It might be less loaded, So anyway, the current state of secular versus religious affairs in our modern Western world is, as I see it, a sad story, because so many intelligent, sober, rational folks have, in my humble opinion, thrown out the baby with the bathwater. And what I mean is, just because we can't buy into the religious narratives that are sold to us, and just because the metaphors have been lost on us since we started interpreting sacred scripture literally as historical events of actual bearded dudes on clouds and blue gods riding chariots, shooting bows and arrows and whatever cultural traditional depictions and symbols and metaphors for this incomprehensible universal source that we may come across just because we don't buy into the literal interpretation of these symbolic tales and metaphors. The meaning, the deeper meaning that these narratives allude to are lost on us. And as we don't buy into the literal interpretations, we throw the baby out with the bathwater. We discard organized religion because we've seen how it is mostly used to control us, to streamline our thoughts and guilt trip us into submission. We see how religion is used to have us wage wars on one another and accept restrictions on freedom, etc., etc., etc. And considering the literal interpretations and the hypnosis and the mass hypnosis of religion, we discard it all. Out goes the sacred scripture and all of it. And in the process, we discard of God. And when discarding God, we don't care to ponder deeper and contemplate what else is there outside the box of organized religion and the literal interpretation of sacred narrative. What else is there? We discard it all. There's no there. There's nothing to see here. Move on. And we sentence ourselves to a kind of modern, secular soullessness. We scoff and scorn at anyone even naive enough to embrace the mere idea of an unseen intelligence or universal force. We consider the need for such ideas just a sort of desperate grasp for comfort and solace in this cold, dark, and uncompromisingly ruthless world of birth, suffering, and death. We think that whoever needs a fable of gods and holiness and sacredness and invisible intelligence is merely incapable of accepting the brutal truth that our fate is to be thrown into an indifferent universe of birth, suffering, and death. But whoever looks closer and observes more intimately and thinks deeper and contemplates further soon discovers that outside the framework of sacred symbolic narratives and holy metaphors, there is something mysterious still is. However, man has complicated it, and whatever face we've imposed upon it, and by whatever name we call it, there is a power and intelligence that not only is ever present within, around, and beyond all of existence, our universal source, the mysterious origin of suns and black holes, of nebulae and galaxies and you and me's, trees, animals, nature, planets, and the endless potential of the dark abyss we call space. When throwing out the baby with the bathwater, we have also gotten rid of the mystery. We think we know it all. But wise ones leave room for the unknown. And wise ones leave space for the unfathomable. And wise ones may even marinate in the presence of this mystery in each moment within themselves, manifesting as the very light of consciousness itself, the lamp that is lit within the mind and souls of every living being. This mysterious awareness of existence, the mere notion that I am aware that I am in each moment. Yes. In each being. Wise ones don't even doubt or seek or try to figure out this greatest mystery. They celebrate moment to moment, being it. They witness and marinate in the phenomena of existence itself, which is not our own creation. We did not create stars and suns and black holes. We did not throw the galaxies out there in space. We are not responsible for the unspeakable process over aeons and millennia, billions of years that have germinated into creation and formed planets, and the force out of which nature erupts. It's not our making. In fact, we didn't even make ourselves. Someone said our parents couldn't put us together even if given a box with all the parts. They just made love, oblivious. And then a mysterious intelligence took over and formed life in the womb. And without anyone needing to really bother, eyes were formed, heart, brain, spine, and all the cells, nails, tiny little fingers, a tongue, and all the intestines and the machinery and the organic computer of the brain ingeniously built. Who does this? What is that? We can't take credit for anything natural, for we are part of nature. We are nature expressed in human form. We too arise out of this unfathomable mystery, this intelligence that is at least as smart as us. For out of it we come. Something organizes itself into us and all the moving parts of the universe and beyond. Something organizes itself into a myriad of intelligences, worlds within worlds, countless perspectives, points of view in an endless, dreamlike reality. Wise ones, there's not a question of whether Source, God, the great mystery, exists or not. For those who see, there's nothing else. All of it. Someone may say all of it is God. Child, cancer, wars, the unspeakable horrors of the meat industry. All of it God? Well, just like we have the tendency to throw the baby out with the bathwater and discard the greatest mystery of all that is apparent in everything and present as all of it and manifest as all of us. We tend to also equally erroneously blame source for men's stupidity. There's a song by a group I used to love in the 90s called Talk Talk. Talk Talk. They had this late 80s or early 90s hit called Life's What You Make It. Some may be old enough to remember that one. Life's what you make it. We may not have made ourselves and invented life, and we may not be able to take credit for the universe and nature, however much we try. But we are responsible for what we make of it and how we handle this unspeakable gift of existence. What we do with our lives and the power bestowed upon us, this brief glimpse of being in human form and wielding the force of choice and having the power to influence this dreamlike reality, however little or great, whether a small player or a big mover and shaker. We are responsible by virtue of our thoughts and feelings and visions and ideals. We influence reality. If that is not magic, I don't know what is. What a gift. What a chance. What a power. But what do we do with it? What do we use this glorious, auspicious opportunity for? Well, having thrown out the baby with the bathwater, discarded God, sentenced ourselves to soullessness, turning away from the very thing that would have us humbled and in awe, rationalizing existence into nuts and bolts, conveniences and short-term opportune moments, selfish agendas. Well, we eat crap and die. Hurry up. Like Thom Yorke sings, take the money and run. Yeah. Life without God. Men without souls. Existence without love. It is what it is. We choose to either throw out the baby with the bathwater or leave room for the mystery. Not only around us, within creation itself, and beyond the reach of our intelligences, but within the core of our very selves. Leave room for the mystery